How's it going, everyone? This is Alec Cohen coming in from the Pro Video Coalition booth. We're here at NAB 2024, and I'm so happy to be sitting next to my friend, Jeff Larsen.
How's
Jeff,
it going,
how are you
man?
doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Good. I'm doing great. I'm having a great show. We were just talking about how great it is for these NAB friendships, and I really want to echo the sentiment of go out to these trade shows, come out here and socialize and meet people, and you get to meet your online friends.
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
totally.
my favorite thing.
Oh, yeah.
So we've been hanging out the last two. This is our third NAB together.
Third year.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and NAB was like the first convention expo that I'd really gone to in the space. So, and I've just loved it and keep coming back. So love it here.
It makes me so happy. We're going to run it back next year, but I'm really happy to have Jeff here. We're going to talk a little bit about your studio, your journey in filmmaking. So let's just start at the beginning. Tell me where you're from and what gave you that first spark to get creative.
Yeah, so I grew up in Roosevelt, Utah, so very small town, eastern Utah, probably population like 4,000 people, probably. Really small town. So yeah, I grew up there, not a lot to do there, so had to kind of get creative. So I think my creativity kind of stemmed from trying to make something out of nothing, you could say.
Yeah. And then what was your first step? You kind of, you had I would say maybe a non-traditional path for some of the people that I know. You sort of started in commercials. Would you agree? And what was your first step in that space?
Yeah, so I started with commercials, and I think the reason why I started in commercial is that I've always just kind of been entrepreneurial, and before I got into video at all, I actually started a marketing agency. And I just this sounds like fun. I'd started a business previously. I actually was a silversmith, and I made jewelry, stuff like this, And
I did not know this.
Yeah, I actually used to make jewelry just for fun, and turned it into a business, did it full time for a couple years, and learned how to kind of market myself, taking a little, some pictures here and there, but learning how to do social media marketing and online marketing. And so after I did that, I actually decided to start a marketing agency and teach other people how to run ads, how to do their marketing, how to do branding, all that online, which it wasn't brand new, but when I was doing it, not many companies were focused on social media and advertising. So started that marketing agency. And through doing that, I was forced to take more pictures. I was forced to buy a camera. I started offering photo and video to my clients because it was just a necessity. Yeah. And I really fell in love with the creative side of marketing. So when I realized that that's where my true talents were on the creative end, not the marketing end, I kind of just dove headfirst into video production from that and kind of shifted my business from marketing agency to full-time video production agency.
That's such a great story. Yeah. It's sort of a non-traditional path, but I love that it comes from the same root of we're storytellers. We're figuring out how to brand and market ourselves in a way which is really unique. And I think there can be a little bit of a pretentious layer to people in our space. And so I kind of like that you came this way of being okay, let me just present the product and kind of show what we're doing. And it does kind of track, you make some amazing content, which I'm excited to talk about. But tell me those first steps when you're in your garage doing these small projects and how that led into CPO Studios.
Yeah, so when I was first kind of getting into it, I decided to kind of niche in on physical products. And actually, especially when COVID and all that went down, I wasn't really filming in businesses and physical places as much anymore. And I had been really focused on filming products. So at the time, actually before my garage studio, my wife was kind enough to let us move everything out of our room, and we flippin' lived in the hallway of our apartment, and I used my bedroom as a little set and just started filming products, and companies were loving what I was doing to where I was kind of quickly able to get out of that. I got into a little bit nicer house that had another garage. That's when I started my garage studio and just started I really niched in on product and tried to have as much fun with it as I could and get really creative. And I think because I hyper fixated on that and just really keyed in on that, I was able to get into a position to impress investors and start SIPO Studios and get that whole thing started.
That's so incredible. I love the humble beginnings and what incredible support from your wife. I mean, not everyone would be willing to live in a hallway. Going from the hallway to the garage. And now tell us about the space you have.
Yeah, so now I'm in a nice studio in Springville, Utah. We've got a nice big cyc wall that we do a lot of our work in, and a motion control robot. It's a Mark Roberts Bolt on track, which is insane. So much fun.
Incredible.
But yeah, we shoot on the Bolt. We use some fun gear, some fun cameras, and yeah, it's pretty crazy to the progression of filming from my bedroom to a garage to being in a big space that I've got right now. It's just, yeah, it's pretty crazy to look back on.
I love your content of like the early days of you have some light tube and you're just like waving it, trying to get these cool lighting effects on something on a little table in your garage.
Yeah.
And now you look at, I mean, please, if you have a second, check out Jeff's content. I mean, the motion control robot can truly do shots that you can't emulate. You can't do it any other way. It's so incredible, some of the stuff you're able to do. And tell me about the cameras, the lighting, like what is all filled in SIPO.
Yeah, so SIPO, we've got, like I said, the motion control robot. We use that for pretty much everything. But on that, we rock a red Monstro Ranger body. So it's pretty robust. That's our workhorse. We shoot almost everything on that. We also have a Phantom VO, which is a lot of fun. So rocking the Phantom with the robot arm, unlimited kind of movement options and speed. The speed of the robot arm is pretty crazy.
It moves so fast.
You know, we can launch things, we can drop things, and the arm can keep up with everything we throw at it. So and then we use a lot of aperture lighting in the studio. We've got Titan tubes. We've got all kinds of stuff. I mean, we're always looking around, and that's why I love coming to NAB too. Yeah. Just like, what other tools can I add to the arsenal to just play around more? And that's kind of been my mentality, is like I like to have fun. I like to play around, mess around. Like you said, waving the light tube around, like looking ridiculous. I try to just have fun, be creative with things, and actually, SIPO it's Chilean Spanish. Okay. It pretty much means like hell yeah. It's like yes. It's like it's this enthusiastic yes. In Chile they add po to everything. It's like just this extra level of kind of excitement.
I get it now. Yes.
And I created the name and started SIPO because I've been enthusiastic. I've said yes to some crazy ideas, or maybe put myself in embarrassing situations to other people to just try things out. And
absolutely,
I think that's propelled me in my career so far more than anything.
Absolutely. And so what's some advice? It seems like content creation, you have this marketing background, but making content for yourself was a bit of a jumping off point to SIPO Studios. Yeah. Tell me about how that helped you along your journey and how you kind of utilize social media and approach social media now.
Yeah, well, social media is amazing because you can quickly figure out how people react to what you're making, right? Maybe you make people laugh, you impress people, or they have no idea what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
So as I was getting into this filmmaking, I myself am intrigued with the process and the creativity. It's just really exciting. So I'm like, other people have got to find this kind of exciting.
Yes.
So, I just started playing around with showing how I would set things up and show the process. Of course, add a little humor in there, add a little bit of like goofiness. Like I was just trying to have fun with my content, keep it real. And I got great responses, especially on TikTok. Was able to kind of grow that platform, do really well. I think I did within a couple years was able to do like 250 million views on my account.
That's incredible.
And just getting that feedback has been awesome. And it attracts the attention of other brands that eventually want to do work. So
absolutely.
I get to have fun with it. I get to show people what I do, and then brands that like what I do we'll see that and reach out and do work. So
that's incredible. And I feel like that's kind of a common theme of some of the people we've been talking to is like, if you were just doing your work in silence, you might make the client happy and do something that's fulfilling. But if you're not sharing your work, if you're not putting yourself out there, no one's going to listen. No one's going to come find you. And so can you tell me about one example of a time where you maybe did some spec work or were doing some fun social media videos and that led to a collaboration that was successful for you and Sipo?
Yeah. Honestly, I think one of the most fun collaborations that I did that came from social was a piece that I did with Adidas. And the Adidas project was, I approached it like I think every normal person would, and that is making a spec video for them.
Yeah.
And it performed okay on social. I got these cool shoes, filmed them. It actually got a few 100,000 views on TikTok. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
But I didn't get any response from Adidas. I didn't really go anywhere other than people seeing it and enjoying it.
Yeah.
So scrolling on TikTok maybe 2 months later after that, and I saw this funny trend where people were adding this like GIF of a dancing squirrel.
That was the
over
best,
people's videos.
That was the best meme. Was the dancing?
It was
the
hilarious.
bad edits. Like the bad edit meme
just
was amazing.
bad edits. Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna use this with the Adidas content and just kind of play this card of like, oh, Adidas didn't care about my spec video, so I made this, this crappy version and added the squirrel on it and added flashing,
You made the
effects.
squirrel real, right?
And well, for the first one, I just pasted the squirrel and then I tracked little PNG files of Adidas shoes on the squirrel's feet dancing around.
Yeah.
And I threw it together in about, probably like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and said, I think the caption was something like, Adidas didn't like my spec video, so I paid an editor $10 to make something crazy, which I did myself, but I posted it. And then that thing got like 10 million views. And Adidas thought it was hilarious. A lot of other people, the comment ratio on that video was insane.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying, Adidas has to use this. Adidas has to use the squirrel.
Yeah.
And Adidas reached out. They said, hey, slide in the DMs. Let's chat. So started chatting, and that's when I did the actually produced.
Yes.
I brought the squirrel to life. I got a puppet squirrel. I bought the smallest Adidas shoes I could find, slipped it on the squirrel, built a little set that was like a tree, and went all out. And this was actually before I was fully a part of the studio.
Got it.
But we filmed with the robot arm and made it this big production, and Adidas loved it. They told me at their like end of year party, they all watched it together at their headquarters in Germany, and it was that one was really, really fun, and it was true to the nature of social media and trends, and just so I think that was probably one of my favorites of all time.
Oh, that's such an incredible story. And I have to say the one thing I was thinking about as you were telling it was being a little specific, the specificity of that, coming up with a strong idea that's unique, because everyone can take a shoe and go in their garage and wave the light around and blah, blah, blah. And you see a lot of that on the internet. But the fact that you took that extra step to be like, here's who I want to work with. Here's how I'm going to inject my personal sense of humor and flair.
Yep.
And this is what we're going to make. And that's hilarious. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite videos.
You gotta be true to yourself. You gotta, if there's something that you do that's unique or something that makes you unique, like bring that, infuse that into your content, into your ideas.
Yeah.
And you will stand out, so
incredible. I love it.
Yeah.
So what is next for you and what is next for Sipo?
So Sipo is continuing to grow. We focus heavily on, I haven't been on social as much recently because I've been head down focused on growing the studio, building up, clientele, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But honestly, I miss the social side of things. I miss
you.
the fun content, the quirkiness. So honestly, I think that's next. That's what we're going to be doing next, is
I love it.
Focusing on the social and just having more fun with it.
Yeah.
That's when, if you're having fun, you're going to be successful, and
totally.
You're going to attract the right people.
Yeah. So I can't wait for it. So where can people find you?
So you can find me a couple different places. You can see Sipo Studios, on socials, as well as me personally, Jeff. My socials are jeff.larsen1 on both Instagram, TikTok, and eventually we'll be dropping some YouTube. We want to get into some long form,
that would be amazing.
Some more informational kind of breakthroughs as well. So or walkthroughs, kind of showing how we set things up as well. So,
yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. Larsen with the EN.
Yeah, Larsen with the EN. Jeff.Larsen1. Yep.
I can't wait for it. I didn't know about the YouTube. This is breaking news.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for that because you guys have incredible resources, and I love that you're approaching it from a place of education.
Yeah, it's something that you don't always get an insider look into those types of productions and using motion control and that kind of stuff, especially using that for like funny social stuff. So
incredible.
I think we really want to pull back the curtain, show that process, and just have fun with it.
I can't wait for it. Jeff,
yeah,
we'll do it again next
Thanks,
year,
Alec.
my friend. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.